This module is all about reading fluency. We are now on Module 10 in this course, and we are moving right along. Now, some of you might think, why are we doing reading fluency in elementary school, since this class is about elementary school? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Reading is an integral skill to a student's learning as well as their success in school. In the early elementary grades, we teach students how to read, and then in the later elementary grades, there is a shift from learning to read and using reading for learning. So we go from teaching students how to read, and then we move to them actually having to read information in order to be able to learn. A common difficulty for students who struggle with reading has been the ability to read fluently. But fluent readers can read quickly through a text with accuracy and use their decoding skills, while they can also achieve comprehension of that text or be able to pull meaning from a text. However, non-fluent readers struggle with decoding the text and then are not able to comprehend the text they are reading. An interesting quote is, "Teachers all believe that learning to learn is a lifelong process, and that schools are designed to help students become more informed and more sophisticated learners as they progress through different grades." Now, these teachers don't believe that learning to read should be a lifelong process. This seems kind of interesting, but they do, however, think that students should be progressing through learning and learning throughout the grades. Just something to contemplate there. I find this rather interesting because we should always be working with our students to learn to read and also using reading to learn. If a student doesn't learn how to read in the early grades and teachers refuse to later teach them, how is the student ever going to be able to read and be able to grasp these concepts that they're struggling with, say from a textbook if they have to read from that? As you can probably guess, and I've already mentioned, this week we are focusing on reading fluency. Reading fluency is an important component of reading, especially if we expect students to gain comprehension of something they are reading. Many often only think of reading fluency as reading as fast as possible, but that is not an accurate description or representation of reading fluency. Reading fluency is about reading a text quickly, but we also are looking at accuracy at the same time. So there needs to be a balance between speed and accuracy, and we need to find that happy medium that we have. What is the point of a student reading really fast if they are making tons of errors and they're not able to understand or be able to remember what they read? Well, there really isn't a point to that. Reading fluency also includes reading with prosody or expression. This means changing your voice while reading, such as pausing at a comma if you come to one in reading, raising a pitch at yes/no questions, showing excitement at exclamation points. Reading fluency is a combination between accuracy, speed, and expression. Reading fluency has been known to be the bridge between decoding and comprehension. Students who spend their energy and effort on decoding words are not able to read fluently and have difficulty achieving meaning of something they are reading. Additionally, good readers alter the rate at which they read. Struggling readers with slow reading rates do not do this and are not aware that good readers do this automatically. So, let's say I'm reading something that's more difficult that I'm not used to reading. If I'm a good reader, I'm going to adjust my reading rate. If I am a poor reader, I don't know that I need to slow down or adjust my reading rate. And so they're not able to do that. And that just comes with learning, and we have to teach them that. Well, that's just a little bit about reading fluency as a prelude to what we're getting into this week. This week there are 2 chapter readings, and you have 2 journal articles to read. Then there is a presentation to watch on reading fluency. Since we are back using the Bursick and Damer text, the Chapter 5 presentation from the publisher has been provided for you. There is a discussion this week. Please be sure to read the appropriate readings before participating in the discussion. I provided you with some practice for scoring and recording reading fluency on Canvas. There are audio recordings of a 3rd grader reading words and passages so you can get some practice on how we do this. This will prepare you for conducting a reading fluency assessment with a student, which is due at the end of this module. Now, I know some of you have expressed difficulty in finding students to test in the past, So for this module, I am providing you with an alternative assignment if you cannot find a student. But I do highly suggest if you can find a student, you really should be able to give a reading fluency assessment. If by chance, though, you can't find a student, do the alternative assignment. The alternative assignment is completing an IRIS module on reading fluency and answering the assessment questions. More on this can be found online in Canvas. Well, that's all for this module. Please remember to contact me if you have any questions. And oh, don't forget to take your quiz on reading fluency at the end of this module. Thank you.